introduction, your name is Samantha Fox, right? And it's Mother's Finest Urban Farm. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Mother's Finest Urban Farm.
Yep. Okay. And so tell us the background, like what brought you, and it doesn't have to be like super extensive, but kind of like, what brought you to the point of becoming an urban farm and, what's your background, that kind of thing?
Well, I actually took a class at the cooperative extension. I took an urban farming class at the cooperative extension. I really didn't have any idea of what I was getting myself into because, like, before I was like really a girly girl, like, I was a makeup artist, that type of deal. So you can kind of guess that's two different worlds. So I was like, I'm just gonna see how this goes. Went and took the class, and I really, really connected with the class and the information. The class is really geared toward teaching you how to make urban farming or farming a business. So I already was an entrepreneur prior to even going into the class. So, the entrepreneur spirit in me really just took off with the information that I had there. And plus reconnecting with the earth, I've always, kind of loved being connected to the earth. And I grew up around farming. My grandmother, she's from the eastern side of North Carolina. Tobacco farming was huge there.
What's your setup now?
We are considered to be still in the city limits, which is like kind of, on the line. We're close to Walkertown and Winston Salem, which is kind of like getting out into the country. So we do have like a little bit more land to work with in terms of having space to do some of the things that we're doing. So we have like an open plot that's on the side of our house that's pretty much what we grow in the ground. And in the back, we have raised beds. That's where we have our chicken coop. We do have a vermiculture setup that we have built out of a bathtub we found on the
Nice.
side of the
Yeah.
street. And I've been meaning to get some videos of it because some of the worms in there, I mean, they're huge. I think one day I'm going to go and one of them is going to be standing behind me because they're so big. It's kind of it creeps me out sometimes. I'm like, how big are they going to get?
I know. That's what I always tell my kids. I said, don't fall in there.
So we have the vermiculture. I have quails, chickens, bunny rabbits, the beehive. So it is quite a bit to see, and you really have like a whole kind of environment that kind of exists with everything.
But at what point did you realize that you could be successful with this? I mean, I guess would you call yourself successful now with it? I mean, it seems like you are, right?
Well, everybody seems to say that, and I can't even deny that I am successful with doing this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give people the impression that I'm some type of overnight success because that is a flat out lie. I
Right.
had a
It's a
business
lot of
prior.
work. Yeah.
And I think it can be confusing sometimes, but I worked on a business that I ran for 5 years. It was primarily online, and I was successful with that. So I did already have a good understanding of marketing. It's definitely challenging being in my shoes, and it's and you can't really. Nobody can really understand how it feels to be in that position, in terms of being definitely one in North Carolina. North Carolina has a lot of traditions that I don't necessarily care for. Do white label and they're like, yeah, the product is this. And I'm like, I know because I've made it, and they don't think that it's me. They would never guess the person in the room is me.
Yeah.
So, I don't take offense to it at all, because I've really kind of learned to, just always be confident what I'm doing. And I'm glad I have that level of confidence. And I saw strong women in my family. So, I'm thankful for that because I'm able to go out here in the world and I'm equipped with that type of, confidence to go out here and take on a lot of these things. So it really has been something I think that has encouraged other women. A lot of women, they've only been viewed as gardeners and not farmers. And they're like, you're a gardener opposed to a farmer. No, you can be a farmer too. So I really do. I'm pretty edgy sometimes with my content and things that I say, and I really do kind of push the envelope with things sometimes. So I want to break barriers, with what I'm doing in terms of being a woman, being a minority woman. And I have to have that platform there for people to have like a safe place, so to say, a safe place they could go where they know like, wow, this is really empowering for me or people. And you really have to go from a place to where you can't really stay in that place of hate and just, being feel like you're so downtrodden and that type of thing, and that type of mentality. It takes you standing up. I can't come from that place. I can't come from the trauma of, the negative side of it all the time. So I have to come from a positive side of it. And, a lot of times what I say is, like farming for me as African American woman, it's therapeutic. I love it. I would grow a cotton plant. People are like, what? And I'm like, yes, it's therapy for me. I don't feel hurt by that. I don't feel like, that's when you lose the power there,
Right.
and that's what I feel like. For me, it's I'm taking back my power when I can go and I can be beside this plant. I'm feeling at peace, and that type of deal. So, when I started getting into things like that, and they're like, wow, I didn't even really think of it like that. I didn't think that, planting something could be a traumatic thing, to
That's
somebody
huge.
of color.
That's
Yeah, it
huge.
is. It's
Yeah.
huge, and I'm like, you have to really, and you start getting into those conversations because I do kind of get deep with it, but you want people to have that type of thing because it's real, and that's what people, like I said, they're drawn to that part of it because it becomes a lesson in, the farming and a lesson into why we need to do it, why it's therapeutic for us to go through these things and plant these seeds because it really heals you. When you get out there, I'm like, I feel so at peace. I feel, like I'm doing something to help my family, that I'm helping my community by doing that. And it's like I see a lot of people run so far away from it. And really what I want to do is bring them back to it, by being an example and
Yeah.
talking about these things. And we carry that, that trauma inside of us, like you were saying, it hasn't gone away. That's why I said some people, they think they don't even want to be around a cotton plant. They don't want to put in the work that it takes to farm it. Even though it's natural to us, we don't need to read a book to do this. It's inside of us. That's whatever your grandfather or your grandmother they did. Your great grandparents. That's inside of you too. They could have been sheep herders or that type of deal. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
really like, you try to go far away from things that are natural to you when you should be going to those things. So
Yeah.
for me, like I said, I really want, people to look at me and say, wow, like I can supply even if it's just a small bits, like just the supplying the food for your family.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Just do that part. You don't have to go as deep as I am with it.
So one more question for you. What has been your biggest accomplishment that has surprised you? What's something that really surprised you that happened?
Um, I probably would say the article, yeah, I guess because that's so fresh. The article yesterday, it was more than I could have ever imagined. I thought they did a beautiful job. The photos were amazing. It was in a Winston Salem Journal yesterday. It was the front cover of the food section. Michael Hastings, he wrote the article. He's definitely a veteran in the whole food world in the journal. He has a lot of experience with that. So I was really happy that, I had an opportunity to connect with him because a lot of people respect what he says. He really has really done a great job in his professional career in terms of, giving people the knowledge about what's new, what's fresh, and that type of deal. So the article is, what was that? Yesterday was 8/7. I guess you probably can go to the archives or something like that. I don't. When I went out today, people recognized who I was from the article. Which was weird,
Yeah.
but but I think that, and really for
Yeah.
me seeing that people actually, the amount of support that I have, it made my job feel like I could do this, and the
Yeah.
love that I saw yesterday, because it's hard, sometimes I'm
Yeah.
tired, I hurt myself sometimes when I'm outside, I've scraped my arms in the chicken coop. I've been stung in my hands and arms
Yeah.
several times. It's dangerous, but just seeing that support it means a lot because I have a family, I have children, and you can get burnt out quick. Once you lose that creativity and that touch with the creative side where you can't tap into it, then the magic leaves. And
Yeah.
with this time around, I don't want the magic to go away. The magic definitely needs to stay. So I have to pace myself and
Sure.
kind of take things slow as possible. And when you're in a farm and it does become a community and you meet so many
Yeah.
good people, and those connections are important. So
Yeah.
I'm
So,
definitely
honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know we had some technical difficulties, but